Well, hello there. Just want to say greetings to the No Fun League. I hope you had fun this year. The football season was a very exciting year. Lots of different things happened. Lots of different concussion protocols. We have NFL scripts being, written as we speak for the Super Bowl. But I wanted to just recap the season and really just take a look on how it went. Now, I do have some notes, so believe me, there'll be a few pauses because there's so much greatness that happened. Sorry, just had to take a minute. But I wanted to start with the draft. That's really where our fantasy teams built their foundations, right? And so we're just going to go through the draft list and just do a quick recap, and that should give you a better understanding on how the season should have ended. So first pick was Dom, with Dom Disrespect. Now, Dom, your first overall pick, man. You had time to think about this, you chose a running back from the Indianapolis Colts in Jonathan Taylor. Now, I'd like to give you a couple stats from Jonathan Taylor on the season because obviously, first pick in the draft, he should be the number one player in the NFL. But let's just put it this way: he didn't finish in the top 25 in running backs. He didn't finish in the top 200 in the NFL. So didn't do quite so hot. He didn't average. He only scored 20 points twice on the season. Obviously, he did end up on IR, but maybe not the best pick. Now let's just go a little bit deeper in your draft. Sorry, I'm going to dig into you first. Your second pick was okay. CeeDee Lamb, he did great. Finished in the top 10 in wide receivers. He is a Cowboys player, so I guess that was an okay decision. But pretty much you go down your draft list, and other than Tony Pollard and Lamar when you kept him until you traded him, which worked out in your favor, I guess, because he did hit IR. But, shout out to Will for making that dumb trade. It was pretty much all downhill from there. Now, speaking of downhill, that leads me to Ryan. Ryan Gray, you had second pick. And, sir, Broncos Country Let's Ride is how your team name started. And at the end of the season, it was definitely Broncos Country Let's Cry because the Broncos weren't too great. But I'm sure you did a ton of research.
Could you try again?
Thanks, Siri. I'm sure you did a ton of research, as your top three picks were phenomenal. I mean, let's talk about it. CMC, Christian McCaffrey, who did well for both teams, the Panthers and the 49ers, did even better on the 49ers. Saquon Barkley, one of the best running backs in the NFL. Then you had Mark Andrews, one of the top tight ends. So great work there. But let's think about your other picks after that. So then fourth round, it was Courtland Sutton. Fifth round, Breece Hall. Sixth round, Allen Robinson. Okay. Chase Edmonds. Russell Wilson. What were you thinking, man? I guess you did some research on the first three rounds, but after that, it was just, a little tough. Let's go back to your fourth round pick when you decided to pick up, your number one wide receiver, Courtland Sutton. And, obviously your quarterback who you picked, lights out, right? Russell Wilson. Before you picked up Russell Wilson, in between Courtland Sutton, you missed out on a few quarterbacks. You might know their names. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. Sorry, I just didn't, my apologies. Don't want to get too aggressive with it. You missed out, buddy. But we'll move on from you. Don't want to pick on you too much because, you finished in third, so great job with the Browns. That leads me to the third pick. None as interesting as Jesus with QB picks. Let's talk about it because Jesus picked his quarterback in a very crucial round, the second to last round in the draft, the 15th round. And with his 15th pick, who do you think he picked? No, it wasn't Brock Purdy. No. It was our local high school drug dealer, Derek Carr, also known as Sid from Toy Story. Great job picking him up. His team loved him at the end of the season too. A couple other highlights from you, Jesus. You picked 4 running backs in the first 5 rounds. Great stuff. But what was that other pick out of the first 5 rounds that you made? So it was a receiver. Let's think about it. It was Mike Williams. Yes, Mike Williams. Everybody knows it's household name, right? Because he's a wide receiver 1 on his team. No, oh, he's not. Well, he did okay, until he's always hurt every season. So Wise one on there. But let's move on. Let's move on to the fourth pick. The fourth pick in the draft. And honestly, I'm gonna give you kudos. This was Alex Solo. Alex Solo. Your new nickname's the Deuce. The Deuce. Why? Because you finished in second. The first place person. Great job there. Second place. You actually drafted really, really well. You started with Cooper Kupp, then you went to Leonard Fournette, then you had Stephon Diggs. Josh Jacobs, TJ Hawkinson. However, as we know, our teams aren't necessarily built for the playoffs from the draft. The season's very long. We're an 18-week season, 17 games. You have to adapt or die. And clearly, sir, you chose the latter. Because when we look at it, you only had 6 ad drops on the entire season. Talking 18 weeks, 6 ad drops, going in the playoffs, mind you, which you made through 3 rounds, and you just fizzled. Your free agency budget, you had $100, you spent $21. You finished with $79 left in your free agency budget, which might be the reason why you lost 5 of the last 7 games of the season. So next season, just think about that. Just think about that. Now let's move to the 5th pick. Another one. So this would be Will in the Gates to Valhalla. And, I had some notes. No, my notes were a no-show, just like you at the draft. Because you didn't draft, you let it auto-draft, which it worked out in your favor at the first part. But, just like Alex, 9 ad drops, 1 trade for Lamar Jackson, who gets hurt a week and a half later. So great job there. Let's just move on. My apologies. Don't want to upset you. Good luck to you and your Los Angeles Rams with whatever quarterback and wide receiver and all the stuff they have going on. Great for them this past season. Sixth pick was Tim. Tim and the Witches of Hogwarts. Man, really, again, we talk about a good draft. You had Derrick Henry, Devontae Adams, Josh Allen, Ezekiel Elliott. A lot of first name in the last name of the team. Henry, Adams, Allen, Elliott. Great stuff. The only problem is you didn't really have that luck on your side because the season started really great, but you lost 4 out of your last 6 games, and that doesn't really bode well when you think about it. Maybe next time you should hit up Professor Slughorn and get some of that liquid luck, and that could have helped you on the way to the Super Bowl. So maybe next year, bud. Good luck to your Broncos. 7th pick, moving on to Ty. Ty, sir, Team Lewis, very original. Changed up the name throughout the season. Just kidding, Team Lewis. Could have been good. You'd had a decent draft. You had, Najee Harris, Dalvin Cook, Mike Evans, A.J. Brown, all these household names, in the year 2018. But the problem is let's see how you finished. Your team at the end of the season, last couple weeks, you finished with a quarterback that's well-known name, Andy Dalton. You had Dawson Knox, who did not finish in the top 10 as a tight end, so that was good. Deontay Johnson, who I think had a highlight or 2 throughout the season when he had who throwing to him in the Steelers. I don't know who their quarterback was. And then Darius Slayton. So, being a Giants fan, you really had the cream of the crop picked and bringing it at home. So, there's a reason why you probably finished second to last. Now, let's move on to the 8th pick briefly. That was me. Clearly, we know how this all ends. And, I just want to point out that out of my 16 picks, 10 of them I still had towards the end of the season. So, sometimes you got to pick strategically. But also I want to highlight, I did have the most transactions on the season. I had 49 ad drops and the most acquisitions. And sometimes you just have to make those adjustments, right? That's what good teams do. We're looking at the Chiefs, who are on their 7th-string wide receiver starting in the Super Bowl. We're looking at the Eagles, who, used Gardner Minshew to beat some teams and to maybe make it to the playoffs, which... Oh, wait, that was me. I used Gardner Minshew, yeah, because Jalen got hurt, but still got me to the playoffs, and I finished winning 8 of my last 9 games. So let's put it that way. Let's move on, though. Moving on to the 9th pick, Chance. Man, tough year. Just a tough year. Clearly didn't work out too well for you. Just like Ty, though, great choice with the name, Team Alexander. Really original, just had some spice. Like a true Cowboys fan, every year is your year. But let's just look at the draft, and I'm looking at my notes, and it just makes me laugh that, out of your first 10 picks, only 2 of them finished in the top 10 of their position. So you had some good names, Javonte Williams and Cam Akers, but that really worked out well for you, clearly. Now, Tutu, right? Tutu on Sunday before Super Bowl. That's the punishment for being the last place team. Can't wait to see you this Sunday on Super Bowl morning in front of the store wearing a tutu. Just really repping the Cowboys to really show everybody who dem boys are. But my apologies. I don't want to get too rival-like in the NFC East here. So let's move on to another team, an AFC lover with the last pick in our draft, but also snake draft. So last pick, then first pick in the first round. Ryan Thornton, sir, with the North Glen Burrow some TDs. Now, I really want to highlight that name, Burrow some TDs. It would have been nice if you burrowed some TDs for later in the season because you lost your last 4 games of the season and that didn't really work out too well for you. It actually kept you out of the playoffs. So, next time maybe burrow deeper for the winter and then pull those TDs out later in the season. But your first pick was phenomenal. Really surprised. Tight end Travis Kelce finished first in his position, right? So you can't really knock on that, but just think of it from this stance. Travis Kelce, first in his tight end position, but was 40th in overall scoring. So when you draft next year or whatever teams you draft with, or if you decide to be with this league, it is the no fun league. Maybe just re-strategize, kind of like the refs did with the Bengals last week in their AFC championship. But that's really all I have on the draft there. I just wanted to thank you all for a glorious season. Now, I heard some jokes. At one point, I was in close to the bottom of the standings towards the midway of the season. And, I kept my strength and my, just my pure energy and adrenaline towards winning. And what happens when you win is you get this beautiful chrome plated trophy, and when you win you also get to pick next year's punishment as well. So I wanted to announce next year's punishment, which is going to be the loser of the league finishing in week 18 with the lowest win to loss ratio is going to have to sit in the Applebee's out front of the store with a blow up sex doll dressed up in a dress while you're in full suit and tie, and you have to have a romantic dinner. So, good luck next year on that romantic dinner. Happy Valentine's Day coming up soon, too. And good luck in 2023. We'll talk to you guys later.